At Pilgrim Arena this past Sunday, and Dorchester goaltender Jay Glenn getting the net in order, and he would see his team put all sorts of pressure on Roy Sanchez in the beginning. Mike Breen with a wicked shot there that Sanchez started, and everybody got their food in to relax and watch Dorchester get off to the quick start as Neil Conley will swoop in front of the net, and number 30 in white with a backhand makes it a 1-0 game. And just a matter of minutes later, Dorchester expands the lead to 2-0. And remember, this is the last place Dorchester team. Well, they came out and said, hey, we can play hockey. And they show why. As Kevin Glenn will be set up on this pass by Mike Sullivan. Watch this slap shot. Top shelf, near side, 2-0 Dorchester after a period. Second period action is where Weymouth takes control of this hockey game. And they will do it with Kevin Barthel being set up, first of all, by Mike York. In front of the net, Barthel will take the York slap shot attempt and then in 2-1 game. In just a matter of minutes later. Mike Albanese brings it up, leaves it for Paul LaBelle. LaBelle waits, and sets up Scott Anderson, who rifles the shot. Top corner. We're tied at 2. Late second period. LaBelle set up one. Well, LaBelle will score one. Kevin Kowalski to Paul LaBelle. 3-2, and that proved to be the game-winning goal because in the third period, Weymouth will add an empty net goal. And he was in anticipation in the final seconds. Matt Hardiman will take the puck away from Mike Breen on this clear out. And watch what Hardiman does with this wicked slap shot. 4-2. That is your final score in this one as the Weymouth Midgets defeat the Dorchester Midgets in Yankee Conference action. Let's go on to high school sports, where a year ago in high school baseball, Weymouth ruled the old Colony proverbial iron fist. Despite some heavy graduation losses, the Wildcats do have a lot of talent returning, and people such as Tug Donahue, Joe Palucci, Tim Daly, Greg Beston, some great hitters to say the least, and Coach Pat Donovan's lineup. The question is, can the Wildcats do as well as they did last year?
Well, if we get outside, I could probably tell a little bit better. I think you're right. We do have some talent. Joe Palucci, he's been catching now for 4 years. Tug Donahue, he's been with me since for 4 years. He pitched a game when he was a freshman in the tournament. Greg Beston's been around for a couple of years. Timmy Daly looks good in the batting cages. And we've got a few other guys like Mike Fiander, Mike Berry, guys who played quite a bit of ball last year. So hopefully we'll be doing all right.
You look at the season coming in, everybody's in the same boat weather-wise with all the snow. Do you almost look at the first few games almost like exhibition games just to improve, to get better towards the end?
I think so. I'd like to play Brockton, a 9-inning game. We open up with Brockton. We're supposed to be here in Weymouth a week from Friday. And I just soon, play over in Brockton, and, we could play 9 innings over there, and that would give me a chance to look at a lot of players. It'd be better to do it for a non-league game than would for the league games. You're right.
Look at the group of players coming back. You get a situation where you've lost, say, Kevin Shaw, Chad Moore, some quality hitters, but Tim Daly, Tug Donahue, Joe Palucci, that's some pretty good replacements, the 2, 3, 4 spot.
You're right. We can't replace Kevin Shaw. I mean, he had a phenomenal year last year. Pitching, he was unbelievable. Hitting, he had a slugging percentage of about .950. He won some ball games for us late in the year, late innings, and we're just not going to try to replace him. Hopefully, guys who played last year will just take up the slack a little bit. Some of the new guys coming up will, fill in, and we'll be all right.
How about the group as a whole? What are the strengths in the early assessments?
Well, that's it right now. Looks like should be pretty good pitching-wise. Donahue, Eric Smith, Mike Berry. Then there's guys like Chris Martin. I'll probably leave out a few people. Tim Pasquale. I think we've got about 12 guys who've been thrown off the mound inside so fast. So hopefully we'll be able to find 3 or 4, quality pitchers from that group.
And this is tentative at the time of the taping of Weymouth this week. As far as the schedule goes, Bridgewater, Raynham, Quincy, and Plymouth for the Wildcat baseball team, as for the softball team, tennis teams as well. Because with the weather, we don't know if these games are going to exist then or later on. Weymouth High Lacrosse, as far as with Framingham, is going to be canceled Friday. They will open with Winchester a week from Saturday. Weymouth boys track with Quincy and Plymouth coming up. As for the girls track team, we don't know if these are going to be played or not until later on in the season, as Weymouth volleyball does play. They beat Catholic Memorial 2-0. Nice way to open the season. Milford, Somerville, and Brockton coming up for the Wildcats volleyball team. As realistically, you could say this schedule of Weymouth High sports is almost going to be more crossouts and changes as the season progresses. As let's go to the notebook for winter sports athletes that have been named All-Scholastics. As far as the Quincy Patriot Ledger goes, in hockey, Jamie Calabro, Kevin Carlberg were named All-Scholastic Hockey Team of the Patriot Ledger. Calabro, 35 goals this past year. Quebec, Calabro was named to the Boston Herald All-Scholastic Team as well. As far as high school track goes for the indoor track teams, Jana Hutchinson and Stephanie Townsend for the girls, and for the boys, Ely Pierce, Terrence Gibbons, and Manny Fernandez, 3/4 of that fabled Weymouth indoor track team that won the New England. And that's a look at sports.
Thanks, Mark. And weather this weekend, a flood watch is in effect for Thursday night with periods of heavy rain and temperatures in the 40s. Friday, we can expect more rain, drizzle, and fog with a high of 44, and Saturday will be cloudy with a high of 40. So far, no snow in the forecasts. And did you know that April is Fair Housing Month? Join me on a special viewpoint next Wednesday, April 7th, when I'll be speaking with members from the Fair Housing Committee. That's next Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on Channel 23.
That's if we're not flooded out and Noah's Ark is not coming. We will have Weymouth this week and Viewpoint and hopefully some high school games of the week to bring you and Dimension 23. That's all the time we have for Weymouth this week. For God a Dagger, I'm Mark Duchamp. Enjoy your rainy weekend, everyone. Good night.
I listen to the radio in my car, but not at home. Just CDs and tapes.
The best is yet to come.
Who wants to hear commercials in between every song? And radio stations just don't play the music I like.
I'm shameless.
If radio ever had the right music, CD quality, no commercials, no DJs, it'd be great. But then it wouldn't be radio. It'd be more like...
Inside all of us lies untapped genius.
I have a game in my house that you might like to play. Initiate brainstem.
And with it, the forces of evil.
Sometimes I think I've discovered a new planet. We haven't been tapping into new areas. We've just been awakening the most ancient.
Pierce Brosnan, Jeff Fahey in the virtual reality nightmare, The Lawnmower Man. Enter a nightmare world of virtual reality this month, only on Showtime and Dimension Cable.
What's that?
$1.
$1. What is this, a hotel lobby?
50 cents.
Oh, Jesus, don't shoot him, please. Don't shoot. Listen, let me tell you, there's a crime scene right down the block. You shoot, they'll hear. Please, you want the money? Just take it. Go out the back. Did you take it yet?
Did you take it yet? Jesus Christ.
Shut up.
You want the money? You want the money? Just hit. You smoke? What do you smoke? Huh? Take some cards here. You like some candy?
Why don't you give him a back rub while you're at it?
Listen, shut up!
Please, go out the back. You gotta go now. You gotta go quiet.
Call him a cab, huh?
Please. Please.
Do you like rice-a-roni?
That was the unlikely combination of Robert De Niro and Bill Murray in a scene from the new comedy drama Mad Dog and Glory, which is just one of 5, count them 5, new movies I'll be reviewing on tonight's episode of The Screening Room. Please stay tuned and join me during the next half hour as I review not only Mad Dog and Glory, but also some new movies, including Amos and Andrew, starring Nicolas Cage. All that and much more tonight here in The Screening Room. Please stay with us. A few years ago, who would have thought you'd ever see Robert De Niro and Bill Murray appear on the screen together? But that's exactly what happens in Mad Dog and Glory, which is one of the films I'll be talking about on tonight's episode of The Screening Room. Hi, I'm Bob Icardi. I'm the host of The Screening Room. I'm also the film critic of Dimension Cable Services in Weymouth. Well, in addition to Mad Dog and Glory, I'm also going to be reviewing a new film called Fire in the Sky, a film that purports to tell the true story of an alien abduction. I'll also be talking about a new comedy starring Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson called Amos and Andrew. And I'll also be talking about a film called A Far Off Place, the latest live-action film from Walt Disney, which also features a new Roger Rabbit cartoon at the beginning as an extra added attraction. But before we get to all that, I'd like to review a new movie called Swing Kids. A lot of people are saying that World War II movies are dead. A lot of times they don't seem to attract much of an audience. And Swing Kids, I'm afraid, is going to be used as an example of there is some truth to that saying, because I don't think Swing Kids is a film that's going to appeal to a wide audience. And it's too bad, because although I didn't really like this movie very much, I thought it was a well-intentioned movie. The movie tries to appeal not only to grown-ups who remember World War II, but also to young people, because it has some fairly well-known young actors in the cast, headed by Christian Bale, who was the lead role in Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun, and Robert Sean Leonard, who you may remember as the young student who committed suicide in Dead Poets Society. The action takes place in Germany during World War II, and the film tries to explain how swing music, which had been banned by the Nazis, had an enormous power over German young people. And so you get to see a lot of Benny Goodman recordings in this movie really being treated as subversive by the Nazis. And so this idea could have worked. In fact, this film was being compared with Bob Fosse's classic Cabaret as an example of combining music with a story about this era, this terrible era in our history. But Swing Kids does not have a very well thought out screenplay, and almost all of the characters are cliches. And it's really not the fault of the performers in this movie, but none of them are really able to bring their characters to life. And that's quite a statement when you consider some of the adult actors that you find in Swing Kids. Barbara Hershey, who has become a very respected actress in the last few years, even she isn't able to do that much with the role she's given. But I think the greatest surprise in Swing Kids was the disappointing performance by Kenneth Branagh as a member of the Gestapo. Kenneth Branagh may not exactly be a household name as yet, but he received Oscar nominations as both actor and director of Henry V. He reached a much wider American audience with Dead Again. He's just on the verge of co-starring with his wife Emma Thompson in his version of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. And Kenneth Branagh appears in Swing Kids, but at his own insistence, he refused to have his name appear on the credits. And usually that's an act of modesty by an actor. People like Bill Murray in Tootsie and Robin Williams in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen felt that their roles were so small, they really didn't deserve to be billed in the credits. Well, Kenneth Branagh does not have a small role. He's got a fairly major role, but I think even he was disappointed that the role just doesn't come off, because as talented as he is, he gives a very one-note performance as this Gestapo villain, as I think you'll see from this clip. Here's Kenneth Branagh on a scene from Swing Kids. Let's watch.
What else about me do you have objections to?
Polish sausage, French wine, Swiss chocolate. I would be more satisfied with just good German fare. And the music. What kind of loyal National Socialist would listen to anything else?
I won't have you talking this way to our guest. You must apologize.
Oh, no apologies. He has found me out. Oh, Peter, you must report me. For surely they would not allow me to remain at my post if they knew. How I envy the young. For them, everything is so clear. Things seem to be either one way or another. It's only with a little age that you begin to see life as a series of compromises. But even in compromising, one must draw a line. And I see that I have strayed from duty far enough. Thank you, Peter. It is true what our Führer says. In Germany today, it is our youth who lead the way.
Over the years, I've noticed a strange thing. A lot of times, Hollywood will always cast a British actor to play a German. I don't know why that is. Maybe they feel that the English have a way of playing Germans. Well, Kenneth Branagh in this movie really gives a very disappointing one-note performance, and I don't think it's so much his fault. I think it's the way this screenplay was constructed. And what I thought was most disappointing was that this is the feature film directorial debut of Thomas Carter, who's won wide acclaim and a couple of Emmys for his work on such landmark TV shows as Hill Street Blues and St. Elsewhere. Usually when someone graduates from TV to the big screen, they want to prove that they can make a really cinematic type movie, but a lot of Swing Kids plays like a big screen TV episode. It looks like a bad run-of-the-mill TV movie. So although I think this film does have its usefulness to young audiences who may go to see it, because it does try to show in some detail the atmosphere in Germany during the time of Hitler, I can't really recommend you go to see Swing Kids, even though I love some of the jazz music in it. It's not a terrible movie. It's not a disgrace. It's certainly got its heart in the right place. I just wish that the script had been better and that the performances had been up to the level of the cast. Well, so much for Swing Kids. Now I want to talk about another movie that I thought was a bit of a disappointment, although this one I think is worth seeing. The movie is called A Far Off Place. Now, Far Off Place is the latest live-action film from Walt Disney Pictures. And certainly in the last few years, Walt Disney has managed to come back strong in the field of family entertainment. But A Far Off Place, to me, was not up to the usual Disney standards. It's a story of two young people who must travel Africa together, and they're being pursued by an evil poacher who's played by Maximilian Schell. Maximilian Schell was an Academy Award-winning actor, but just as Kenneth Branagh found out in Swing Kids, there's not too much even a world-class actor can do when he's stuck with a one-note role. And Schell was in this movie, and the young actors in this film aren't bad. They're appealing enough, but they don't have that real extra quality about them that would truly make their performances work. And when you remember films like Walkabout, which was also about two young people traveling alone together across mysterious country. In that case, it was Australia. The shortcomings of A Far Off Place really become very evident. It's nicely photographed, and there are parts of this movie that I think kids will enjoy, but I should caution that the film is rated PG for a good reason. There are some scenes in the film where animals are killed, and it's not done in any graphic detail. This is a Disney movie, after all. I think very young children might be kind of disturbed by that. So A Far Off Place is not a movie I can give much of a recommendation to, although at a time when a lot of parents may be saying, look, I've taken my kids to see Aladdin 25 times by now, isn't there something around that's more for family viewing? There's certainly nothing in this film that I would say like 9 or 10-year-old kids can't handle. I just think younger kids than that may be a little bit frightened or bored. Here's a scene now from A Far Off Place.
We gotta get out of here. They smashed the radio. They killed Samuel. I couldn't reach Mopani.
Taking to cabin. Danger for Nani and Harry. Not for parents.
I'm sorry. They were poachers and my dad was trying to stop them.
My father wasn't. He was just a tourist. We follow wind.
What do you mean?
We follow wind.
I don't care what you had. You follow the wind. I want the nearest town.
West.
Listening to me, I said the nearest town with a phone.
Are you saying we should cross the Kalahari? It's impossible.
Wind can do it. We can do it.
Just bring me to the nearest town.
I think the people at Walt Disney Studios must have realized that A Far Off Place wasn't quite what they had hoped for, so they decided to bring in their
orchestrating things for Juventus. Here's Di Canio. Another very talented player on his day, Di Canio, but frustratingly inconsistent. Who's there, back trying to mark him. The goalkeeper just straight. Di Canio on the rock side of Fuse, riddled clear. And that was a chance sent for Juventus and for Di Canio.
1,000 years ago, the Vikings landed. Here, the great experience still coming.
Call toll-free 1-800-543-7500 for your free guide of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Bello with the corner. Aussies come for it. He came with it with a great deal of confidence too. Signori. Off goes goal, so full of running. But nothing comes off for him this time. Baggio. All revolving around him for Juventus. And he wanted full help then on Carino, who Gazza calls the tank. So he didn't pull out of that one, Roberto Baggio.
I thought it was a very good 50-50 tackle, Peter. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Both players have played the ball, and the guy's gone up in the air, and the referee's right on the spot, but he's given a free kick. But for me, that was a good tackle.
See what Carino thinks of it later. It's a hard man to cross. Winter taking the throw. Who's there? Again showing his strength. And the referee decides, though, that he was the offender there, given the free kick to Juventus. Certainly they are concerned about the threat that Fuse poses. They've left out Morocchi from the starting lineup. He was expected to play at left back, but Dino Baggio filling that role. Very versatile player, but it's not his best position. Indeed, when he came on for Italy in the week, Dino Baggio, Dino, not Roberto, Dino played in his more familiar central midfield role and apparently excelled. Now, Di Canio. Dangerous ball in. Gallia was the player on the end of it. And again, Lazio just a little lucky to get away with that. Dole. Good feel to the game, though, Glenn.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's settling down now, and I think both teams now have had chances, semi-chances at both ends, and it's a matter of waiting a little bit. I like it when Baggio's on the ball. I think when Baggio's on the ball for Juventus, you get the feeling something's going to happen. He's playing very deep, and I think as it gets tighter in there, then he'll perhaps get himself into the penalty area.
He's doing that now. Right on cue. Baggio 1-1. Oh, fabulous finish. And such a penetrating build-up then by Juventus. Torricelli involved, and Baggio showing his awareness to slot it in.
Well, yes, I was just saying he's been playing deep, and nobody's been picking him up. And at some stage in the game, I felt he had to get a bit forward, and he'd done that. Perfect timing, lovely slide ball into him, and he's just kept his head and tucked it under the goalkeeper. It was a wonderful pass. You know, it'd be, what, 4 or 5 players with one pass. Baggio sneaks in behind. Look at that, outside of his right foot, sneaks it in the near post. Terrific goal.
Lazio 1, Juventus 1. Roberto Baggio, his 11th goal of the season on 14 minutes. 2 or 3 of the Lazio defenders looking across at the linesman, hoping for a flag, but there wasn't one. He was offside. Riedler to Fuser.
To be where Juventus now will be steadying themselves and make sure they don't give anything away. They've gone 1-0 up in an away game, and they've